wonderful, blissful, smiling faces of all the devotees. And that will really
Cannot hear you.
inspire me to serve all of you very well.
Can't hear.
Hare Krishna. Is there somebody who's not able to hear?
Probably some online participant, bro. We can hear you clearly.
I guess His Grace Bimal, Her Grace Bimala Bhakti Mataji. She is not able to hear. Are all other online participants able to hear? Please say yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. If you can hear me, please turn on your videos. That's the deal. That's why I'll get to know if you can actually hear me. Okay. Well, then we will begin. We'll start. I'm not having any of my musical instruments, harmonium, kartal, mridang, not there. But still, then we will have, let's have Mangalacharam. We'll start with Mangalacharam. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Paramanandamadavam. Hare Krishna. Very happy to be with all of you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to serve all of you by this Bhagavatam class. And we are at Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, the second chapter, shloka number 32. So there are 31 verses that are passed till now. So I'll just try to give a summary of these 31 shlokas. What has happened till now? Let's see an overview. So the first chapter, there were 6 questions which were asked by Shaunakadi rishis. And the chapter 2 begins with the speaker, Suta Goswami, who remembers his spiritual master. Okay, he gets wonderful questions. So the starting is he's remembering his spiritual master and thus beginning to attempt the questions by giving the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Suta Goswami, in the second part, mentions very clearly the answer to the overall well-being of everybody, or the answer as to what is the essence of all the scriptures is bhakti and bhakti. That's it. It's bhakti and bhakti. The answer to first 2 questions. Very clearly. It's just bhakti. And then you get bhakti by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So that was the next theme that came, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Correct? And later on, Suta Goswami explains what are the effects of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. He gives the different stages. Okay, there's Ajnata Sukriti, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Anartha Nivritti, Bhajana Kriya, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. So 9 stages were discussed, beautiful stages of Bhagavatam, of how a person is progressive in these stages. This was discussed. And then there was the next question which is attempted as to Krishna's relationship with different kinds of expansions, Guna Avtaras, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, right? And how Krishna is actually the source of all other incarnations, multifarious incarnations. That was mentioned. So then the question comes to how does Krishna manifest himself in this material world? This was one of the questions that was asked. This was the 4th question. How does Krishna manifest in this material world? Yes, by expanding into various Purusha avatars. So first Purusha avatar, which is explained in verse number 30, is Mahavishnu. And verse number 31 explains both the Vishnus, Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Kshirodakshay Vishnu. That is the second Purusha and the third Purusha. Right? And the 32nd sloka, that is today's sloka, is also going to elaborate on the third Purusha, who is Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. Correct? So far, there have been three questions are answered, and the fourth question is being answered. So we are in that section, and there are another two more shlokas after today's class that will wrap up this chapter. Yes, and that there's an answer to question number 3 also that begins, and the question number 3 is elaborated. Okay, so technically so two questions are answered and one question is being answered. That's what is happening. So let us see the shloka for today. The shloka for today is 1.2.32. I will recite it. You can all recite along with me at your respective places. Yatahi avahito vahanir. Okay, better repeat. Yatahi avahito vahanir.
Tahi avarnito vahir.
Darushu ekasvayo nishu.
Ashu eka svayo nishu.
Naneva bhati vishvatma.
Nani eva bhati vishvatma.
Bhuteshu chap tatha puman.
Uteshu cha tatha puman.
We will go to the translation. The Lord, as the super soul, pervades all things, just as fire permeates wood, and so he appears to be of many varieties, though he is the absolute one without second. Okay. Purport. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by one of his plenary parts, expands himself all over the material world, and his existence can be perceived even within the atomic energy. Matter, antimatter, proton, neutron, in all these, one can perceive the manifestation of the Paramatma feature of the Lord by proper spiritual culture. As from wood, fire can be manifested, or as butter can be churned out of milk, so also the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt by the process of legitimate hearing and chanting of the transcendental subjects, which are especially treated in the Vedic literatures like the Upanishads and the Vedanta. Srimad Bhagvatam is the bona fide explanations of these Vedic literatures. The Lord can be realized through the oral reception of the transcendental message, and that is the only way to experience the transcendental subject. As fire is kindled from wood by another fire, the divine consciousness of man can similarly kindled by another divine grace. His divine grace, the spiritual master, can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood-like living entity by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ear. Therefore, one is required to approach this proper spiritual master with receptive ears only, and thus divine existence is gradually realized. The difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only. A human being can hear properly, whereas an animal cannot. Hare Krishna. Welcome once again to our Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. I feel very fortunate to be addressing all of you live and exclusive from Vrindavan Dham. Yes. So I'm in Vrindavan discussing about the Srimad Bhagavatam, which eventually takes everybody to Vrindavan. That is the purpose of Bhagavatam. The purpose of Bhagavatam, right from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it prepares one to gradually develop this Vrindavan consciousness. Yes, Vrajabhav, Vrindavan consciousness. So today we are going to be seeing a very, very vital step, a very important step, which will help us to accelerate our Vrindavan consciousness. Yes. So if you all want me to speak with more enthusiasm, some more videos on, please. It's not night time. Indian devotees, please turn on your videos. I know you all can be wide awake, so please turn it on. Yes. If you all turn it on, then I may consider showing you Vrindavan Dham also. Come on, please. Hari Hari, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. So now if you look at this particular theme that Prabhupada is addressing, this verse is stating that, well, just as fire permeates wood, yes, if you take a wood, a log of wood, there is fire in that. In fact, it is said that ether is present everywhere. But within air, ether is present. Within water, within fire, air and ether both are present. In water, fire, ether and air, all are present. And in the earth element, all other elements are also present. So earth element is the grossest element and it contains all other elements. So wood is earth element. So wood contains fire within. So just like wood, a log of wood contains fire within, but it is not visible. But we can kindle and we can definitely kindle fire. So similarly, Paramatma, the super soul, pervades everything, all things, and he can also be perceived. So the two themes which are there in this particular shloka, number one, Lord is everywhere. And number two, how to perceive the Lord who is everywhere. Yes, Lord is everywhere. And the second theme is how to perceive the Lord who is everywhere. So this is what we are going to be discussing today. Two things. All right. So right in the beginning of Srimad Bhagvatam, the Bhagavatam starts with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the word Vasudevaya which is used. And even a few verses before, you would have seen Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Paramakha, Vasudeva Paramyanam, Vasudeva Param Tapa, Vasudeva Param Yoga, Vasudeva Param Dharma. So like that, Vasudeva, 8 elements were mentioned. I think it's verse number 28 and 29, few verses before. You would have got this class. So these are all different. So Vasudeva is the supreme yoga. Vasudeva is the supreme duty. Vasudeva is the supreme destination. Paragati, that's the final thing. So the theme is still about Vasudeva. So but what is the meaning of this Vasudeva? This word Vasudeva, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Some say, Prabhuji, you are in Vrindavan Dham. In Vrindavan Dham, Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudev in Mathura, and son of Vasudev is Vasudev. That's the meaning of Vasudev. Yes, that's right. He's called Vasudev because he's the son of Vasudev. But there's another meaning of this word Vasudev. And that meaning of the word Vasudev is one who is all pervading, who lives everywhere, is called Vasudev. That is the meaning of this word. Deva means not just a divine personality, Indra Dev, Chandra Dev, Varuna Dev, Vayu Dev. No. This Deva is referring to the supreme personality of Godhead. Specifically because he is Vasudev, who resides everywhere. Who resides everywhere. So I'm in Vrindavan, and I'm fortunately getting to meet so many devotees. Yes, many devotees. It feels as though the whole world has come to Vrindavan. The devotees from Melbourne, the devotees who have come from South India, the devotees from Pune also here. And I'm able to see 90% of our brahmacharya ashram is here. You are also here. Okay, I'm also here. You are also here. So somebody sees, they may think, oh, maybe Prabhuji, where do you stay? You stay in Vrindavan? No, we don't stay. I don't stay in Vrindavan, but I'm right now staying in Vrindavan. Today I'm in Vrindavan, tomorrow I'll be in Mayapur, day after tomorrow back to Pune. Yes, so I stay in Pune and I then move around. Yes, so devotees are very interested to know, where do you reside? Yes, what is your permanent residence? Are you in Calgary? Are you in Pune? Are you in Boston? Where are you? Yes, right now in Vrindavan. Tomorrow, well, if Krishna willing, Mayapur, etc. But if you look at Vasudeva and ask him, where do you stay? He says that he stays everywhere, at all the times. That personality is Vasudeva. Correct? So now, God is everywhere. Now, this is a truth. It's a statement. This is a Shruti statement. Sarvatah Pani Padam Tat. Sarvatokshi Shiror Mukam. Sarvata Shrutimal Loke Sarvam Avritta Tishtati. The Lord, the personality is everywhere. Sarvata Panipadam, his hands and legs are everywhere. Which means he wants to bestow some blessing upon his devotee. Yes, the Lord bestows blessings through his hands. His hands are everywhere. He can bless you from anywhere. Sarvata Pani Padam Tat. Padam means the feet. And when we talk about service, we talk about the feet. Oh, that means everywhere there is opportunity to serve the Lord. Sarvato Akshi. He has eyes everywhere. CCTV camera. The closed circuit television camera that is everywhere, watching all of our activities. There's no blind spot for Krishna's vision. So that is also everywhere. Shiro, Mukham, his mouth is everywhere. You can feed him from anywhere. You can listen to him from anywhere. His Vani. Yes, Sarva Shrutimal Loke. He will accept his prayers. He'll listen to your kirtan. He'll listen to your prayers from anywhere because his ears are also everywhere. And in one line, Sarvam Avrita Tishtati. Through his, he is expanded everywhere and covered the entire creation. Correct? So that personality is Vasudeva. Now, many times people come and ask, we know this ISKCON. Some people care to find out what is the full form. What does ISKCON stand for? That's an abbreviation. Yeah. Many people after spending a couple of years get to know, oh, that ISKCON is an abbreviation. International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Well, international, that's understood. There are so many international firms, international organizations, international personalities. Okay. Society, yeah, we also live in society. No big deal. Society, that's understood. But what is difficult to understand? The second part, which is the most vital part, Krishna consciousness. International society done. But what is this Krishna consciousness? So often when I go to many programs, people ask us this one question that, Prabhuji, what is this Krishna consciousness? And how many of you really want a very, very concrete answer to this? What is Krishna consciousness? At least we know what is Krishna consciousness. Prabhuji, we really know what is Krishna consciousness, but how to put it in words when it comes to newcomers? Yes, this is something we want to know. Well, don't worry. Today, we are going to be knowing how to exactly present what is Krishna consciousness to anybody. Okay? And we will be doing this in 5 steps. There are 5 steps to understand, and gradually, just like a vehicle. How many of you drive? You drive vehicle? Yeah. 5 gears, right? The 6th one is reverse. You should not take reverse. No taking reverse in Krishna consciousness. The 5 gears. So like this, the 5 different steps of what is Krishna consciousness. So the first step is to simply accept the authority of Krishna. Yes, that's the beginning of Krishna consciousness. You accepted the authority of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That's it. Who is God? Krishna is God. You know this fact. You accepted this fact. You digested this fact. That's the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Yes, Krishna is God. Okay, God, who is God? God is Krishna. Krishna is God, God is Krishna. Very good. What is the next step? The second step is to not just accept Krishna as the authority, but to accept Krishna's, to follow the authority of Krishna. That is the second aspect of being Krishna conscious. Where you start following the principles of what Krishna has spoken, the Bhagavad Gita. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyoshime. Start following it. So we start following. Krishna says, Satatam kirtayanto mam yathan tascha dradabrata. Yes, you start kirtan, you start chanting names, you start offering obeisances. You start listening to the sermons of Krishna. Yes. So you start following the instructions given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. That is the second level, the second step. And then the third aspect, which this particular purport is dealing about, this is the aspect of feeling Krishna's presence everywhere. This is Krishna consciousness. Yeah. This is a level 3, feeling the presence of Krishna. This is spoken in Bhagavatam also. This Bhagavatam this is called as Para Isha Anubhuti. Bhakti pareshanubhava viraktir anyatra chesatrika ekakala. Prapadyamanasya tasmata shus tushti pushti shuddha apa anugasa. So this particular shloka says, calls this feeling the presence of Krishna. Many times people look at me, of course, for here it's very obvious, saffron robes, this tilak always, there's a shaven head with a shikha, so we'll walk. They ask, "Aap karte kya hai? What do you do?" This is a question. And what do you do? We want to know, what do you do? So I'm a monk. I do spiritual practices. Oh, you do spiritual practices. Himalaya, Himalaya. No Himalaya. No mountains, right? Yes, no mountains, no Himalaya. We have uh, flats, buildings. Yes, like the regular people. Here we practice spirituality. Oh, and then people ask the most difficult question. They ask, have you seen God? Oh my God, what do we answer? Have you seen God? Said, obviously, yes, we do see God always. He's in the temple. Yes, we see God. No. I mean to ask, do you feel God? You feel God? Yes. Now, this is a question many people ask. This is important. Krishna consciousness means we should be able to feel God. This entire purport, Srila Prabhupada is instructing us rather towards how to develop this aspect of feeling the presence of God. Yes, feeling the presence of God. And here is where we are taking the next step in being Krishna conscious, to feel God. And sometimes people ask, how many years you are chanting? I'm chanting last 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. Do you feel God? My God, I never thought about that. Yes, feeling God. What a difficult question. But this is something that Prabhupada is making us understand. We are here for some serious business. We all should be able to feel God. Just a month ago, we were all with His Grace, Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu, an amazing Srila Prabhupada disciple. You know, he gives us very, very clear-cut expectations of what Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada once sat and asked the devotees, when, you know what will please me? And some devotees said, when we distribute books. We distribute books. Of course, marathon is coming. Please distribute as many books as possible. That will surely please Prabhupada. But that's not it. Then another devotee rose his hand and said, well, you will be pleased, Prabhupada, when we actually we read your books. Prabhupada said, that is all right. Yes, that also is to be done. It's not that we are supposed to discard the books. We're supposed to read the books. But what will please me? What will please me is you when you love Krishna. When you love Krishna, that will please me. So he was telling us that Prabhupada said every devotee in our Krishna consciousness movement is supposed to see Krishna. Yeah. Every devotee in our Krishna consciousness movement is supposed to talk to Krishna eventually. So we have to gradually develop ourselves spiritually to reach there. That is the expectation that Srila Prabhupada had of all of us who have joined this movement. Right? Before everything, come on. Now, let's come back. You have to feel Krishna. Well, we are talking about feeling Krishna. And then what are the other two steps? Let's at least know it. The number 4 is when you felt the presence of Krishna, then number 4 is you act on behalf of Krishna. Yes, you're acting on behalf. Like there are great souls like Narad Muni. They act on behalf of Krishna. They perform in various pastimes on behalf of Krishna. Yes, acting on behalf of Krishna. But the final stage of Krishna consciousness is to act behalf of another representative of Krishna. And the greatest example for all of this is Srila Prabhupada. Yes, he purely acted on the instructions of his spiritual master, who was a pure devotee of Krishna. And taking his instructions to his heart, he preached. I just went a few days back to Sri Radha Damodar temple to see Prabhupada's kitchen, to see Prabhupada's bhajan kutir, the place where 6 long years he meditated He prayed, he cried, he wrote, he made plans on how to act on behalf of a representative of Krishna. And after this 6 years of dedicated preparation in Sri Radha Damodar temple, then he left to the West and thus spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Right? So that is the highest form of Krishna consciousness. So we are going to be discussing about the third aspect, that is how to feel Krishna. Yes. And when it comes to how to feel Krishna, well, that is possible. That is possible through the process of Shravan and Kirtan. That's what is written. So Shravan and Kirtan, which means hearing and repeating. Repeating, yes, you hear, you just don't just keep hearing, don't just keep pouring. We're supposed to repeat what we heard. Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19th chapter, 151 shloka number. He writes beautifully. Kirtan means to repeat what you hear. Yes, it's all of our responsibilities. We are hearing Srimad Bhagvatam. We have a responsibility to repeat it also. Yes, repeat it to some devotees. Repeat it to some newcomer. To whatever extent. We are supposed to do this Kirtan. I'm also trying to repeat what I learned from my gurus and seniors and other Vaishnavas. That's what is the Kirtan I'm trying to do. Correct? Repeat it. So now what to hear? What subject matter to hear? Shukadeva Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj that there are so many topics to hear. Yes. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Granam Santi Sahasrashah Apashyatam Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. In the age of Kali Yuga, there are so many things to hear. Previously, there used to be YouTube videos, but now there are YouTube shorts. Deadly. Very deadly. Person who gets into shorts is shot by my eyes. Shorts. People who go for intoxication, they also take shots. I have no experience. I only heard. Yes, brahmachari learned by hearing. So they take shots. Yes, shots of intoxication. So these shots are even more detrimental than these shots. Because these shots, person takes, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then after that he is high, and then it's over. Hangover for some time and over. But these shots, a person 5 seconds, 10-second shots, it's endless. It goes on. There are people who are making world records of continuously watching the shots for days together. Yeah, and they're able to get engaged. Continuous, cut. So thus, in Kali Yuga, there is absolutely no dearth of topics. What to hear? Pranam Santi Sahasrashah. But the topics that should actually be heard are transcendental subject matters. But let us look at transcendental subject matters. Let's look at Vedas. Yes, Vedas are to be heard. But the problem is, it's very confusing. It's very confusing. Why is it confusing? Because it's very huge and lofty. It's very elaborate. Now, suppose I mention about 1,342 points in my lecture. What will you all do? Yeah, I could see some raise in eyebrows also. My God, Prabhu, really? We're not going to be, we'll not even try to remember one point. No, so sorry, thank you so much. On the other hand, I just tell you some, okay, these are just 5 take-home points. That's it. Very good. Please tell us. It's good. So if too many things are spoken, that is also very confusing. That's the problem with Vedas. It's huge. And thus it's confusing. The person, he reaches one conclusion and it goes ahead, that conclusion is changed. Yes. What about Upanishads? Upanishads, well, they are very dry and tasteless. There's no taste. That's the problem with Upanishads. Then what about Puranas? Okay, how many of you like fruits? Fruits. Okay. Anytime you have eaten an unripe fruit by mistake, thinking it to be ripe, that many times happens with bananas. You're very excited. Wow, bananas. You're excited. You take it out and you bite. It's not yet ripened. That is Puranas. Unripe fruits. They are fruits. Upanishads are the leaves. Upanishads are like the leaves. The leaves is something you cannot eat. Come on, that is meant for cows, cattle to eat, not for human beings. Right? The Veda themselves, they are like the branches and trunks and all. That is not, again, that's something we can't eat. And similarly, unripe fruits, we put them in the mouth, not ripe, we spit it out. And we don't eat the rest of the fruit. That is Puranas. Then what do we need? Yes, we need ripened fruit. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukadam napadarva samvitam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam huraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. That ripened fruit of the Vedic literature is Srimad Bhagvatam. That is actually the subject matter for Shravanam and Kirtanam. I'll tell you a story. I've told it several times, but I would like to tell it again. The story of the son of Parikshit Maharaj, whose name is Janmajaya. Once Janmajaya was sitting very disappointed. He was very disappointed and he was very fed up with life and he was sitting. So his guru is Vaishampayana. And Guru was trying his level best to cheer him up. Come on, come on. As a king, you cannot get disappointed. You cannot get upset. There'll be different varieties of situations which will come in your life. Yes, there'll be shortcomings. There'll be impediments. There'll be unhappiness. There'll be discomfort to your life. But you have to move on. Come on. Go ahead. If the king is disappointed, you give up. It's over. What will happen to the praja? You cannot sit like this. Come on, please. Don't get disappointed. Cheer up. And Janmajaya just said, I don't want to hear anything. Please, I don't want any good instruction sermon. I've had enough. Please, I don't want to hear anything. Now, how do you talk to a person who has heard, who doesn't want to hear anything? Difficult, right? It's very difficult to talk to a person who says, please don't talk to me. But Vaishampayan is very intelligent. He speaks two words, which catches the entire attention of Janmajaya. He says, number one, Vanabhangam, and number two, Goharanam. And immediately Janmajaya is, what? What are these two things? What are these two sutras? What are these two mantras? Gurudev, please tell me, please elaborate. Can you please elaborate what are they? They are two simple words, right? What is the first word? Vanabhangam. That means destruction of a forest. And the second one is Goharanam, the theft of cattle. Yes, you're stealing cattle. Now, using these two words, Vaishampayana Rishi very intelligently speaks the entire Mahabharata and Ramayana to Janmajaya. He speaks the whole of Ramayana and Mahabharata, entire thing. How is that? Intelligence? Yes. Because what is Vanabhangam? Vanabhangam is Hanuman destroying the Ashokvatika, a part of Ashokvatika forest, in order to catch the attention of Ravana. And what is Goharanam? Goharanam is Duryodhana and the Kauravas stealing the cattle of Virat Desh so that the Pandavas would come out and they would get an opportunity to expose the Pandavas from their Ajñatavas, the year of incognito, the 13th year of their incognito. So this is what is Goharanam. So using these two words, he explained the entire Ramayana and Mahabharata. And after hearing Ramayana and Mahabharata, Vaishampayana told, Janmajaya, I would like you to summarize this, what all you heard. Please sum it up. Please summarize in your own words. He says, Gurudev, in summary, I've studied 4 things. And Gurudev is very excited. Yes, please, my dear son, go on, tell me, what is it? He said, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. And this is getting nowhere. I don't want to hear any of this again. That's what Janmajaya said. Then Vaishampayana said, then what do you want to hear? What is it that you want to hear about? What is it you want me to talk about? And Janmajaya says, after having heard all the scriptures, after having heard all the sermons, after having heard the 2 big itihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata from you, the conclusion that I have reached to is I would like to simply sit and hear the pure pastimes of Lord Krishna, the Srimad Bhagvatam, and nothing else. Gurudev, you keep speaking Srimad Bhagvatam for the rest of eternity. I can sit here and keep hearing Srimad Bhagvatam. Like father, like son. Hare Krishna. This is Janmejay, the perfect son of his father, Parikshit Maharaj. I simply want to hear Bhagavatam. Nothing. That is the cream of all the Shastras. Srimad Bhagvatam. Yes. So now, from the wood, now there's the upper arani, there's the lower arani. Two types of arani, and we have to know the art of kindling, and thus we kindle, and the fire comes out, the spark of fire comes. How many of you have actually kindled fire through wood? Anyone? Tried ever? Is there anyone from ISKCON Calgary? We have Kashyap Prabhu. Yes, could you please share your experience if possible? We would like to hear. Because you're the only person who has done it. Oh yeah, I don't think anyone else has. Yes, Kashyap Prabhu, we are very eager to hear. Oh, you are in office. Well, we'll catch you later. So he's in office, can't speak. Sorry, no problem. But thank you. Glad to know that you can do that. We still have sages who can do it. Thank you. So this is an art. Not everyone can do it. Okay, we have Monica Mataji also who has done it. Mataji, would you like to share how you did it?
Well, on our last hiking kind of trip, we wanted to have a little campfire. So we had to go around the woods and try to find dry pieces of wood to use as kindling. I'm not sure exactly what you wanted.
Now,
But
how
yeah,
much time did it take?
Oh, it took forever. It
It
was
took?
like it took the whole evening. It felt like
Oh.
we don't usually start a fire because it takes so much time, and we don't have a lot of experience doing it because. But we
still
thought,
did it.
okay, yeah, we thought we had a little bit of time, and we have no other activity now. We set up our camp and we finished our supper. So let's now try to start a fire. We're sitting next to a beautiful waterfall, so. But the whole night we were just fanning the fumes, fanning the flames, and it was really.
Was it easy? Just
It
one
was
word. Was it easy?
no, it was so challenging.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to hear that. Nothing else. Thank you,
Okay.
Monica.
No
Hare
problem.
Krishna. So very, very challenging task from a person who is experienced person who has this practically spending the entire evening just doing it without no prior experience. But still, even this requires a skill. It requires expertise. It requires the knowledge of the art of this science. So similarly, an expert guru is a person who kindles this particular Paramatma from the heart of a disciple. So guru has to be potent. Potent guru is mentioned already. Potent guru means coming in parampara. Potent guru means who is pure in character. Potent guru means who is just simply representing Krishna. He's a potent guru. At the same time, we need a fertile disciple. Fertile disciple. Now there are so many points. So many points. We have the ISKCON disciple course, which teaches us many aspects of how to select a guru. At the same time, it teaches us what kind of disciple should one be. But the most important qualification of any disciple is to have a receptive ear. And Prabhupada has repeatedly spoken about this only. This is a disciple who's ready. Receptive ear. We are in Vrindavan. Near Nandgaon, there's a place called Sheshashai Vishnu. Sheshashai Vishnu. And when Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur had taken all of his disciples to the Vrajmandal Parikrama, he used to take his disciples for yatra for 2 months. My God, how many of you will come if yatra is for 2 months? Your bosses are going to fire everybody from the company. 2 months, where are you stay? Stay where you are. Settle in Vrindavan. But those time people had that opulence to take leaves. Even about 3 decades back, we hear many senior devotees having gone to our spiritual masters yatra, and they would go for a month. They would go to Vrindavan, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, and then come back to Mumbai. They had the opulence to take vacation for a month. I personally have the opulence of going to Yatra for half a month, or Paksha, 15 days. But slowly, as the time passed, now Yatra is 1 week. That's it. And some people are requesting, please shorten it. What more to do? It was 2 months and now 1 week, and that too, oh, please shorten this Yatra. My God, where are we to go now? We're living in such a busy world. So 2 months of Rajbandal Parikrama. It's called 84 square miles Parikrama. 84 kos Parikrama was done. They were in Sheshasai. So they were near Sheshasai Vishnu. They are camped there. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was giving a class. And there was an announcement made that all those who wish to take darshan of Sheshasai Vishnu can go ahead. And those who wish to stay and listen to the class can stay and listen. So all of them, practically all of them went for the darshan of Sheshasai Vishnu. Handful of them, very few of them, they stayed back for listening to class. And Srila Prabhupada, then Abhay Charan De was one of them. He stayed back to listen to the class. And when everybody was coming back, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was asking, so how was your eye exercise? You had a very nice eye exercise. Because how do people take darshan? No, right? You take from bottom to top, bottom to top, bottom to top. That's how you take darshan. Yeah. So how was your eye exercise? You had good eye exercise. Yeah, without hearing, darshan is eye exercise. Bottom to top, that's it. So disciple means a receptive ear. And later on, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had gone to Allahabad, Prayagraj. So that time some of the senior disciples, they went and asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that here is Abhay, can you initiate him? And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, yes, I know him. He listens very attentively. He hears nicely. Now this is the quality that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur caught in our Srila Prabhupada. He hears nicely, he doesn't go away. And that is why I'll initiate. So this is the most important qualification that as disciples, we are all disciples. Yes, we are all disciples. We have to develop is receptive ears. Even if our all other organs and senses are weak, no problem. This one organ has to be very, very strong. Because our path of Bhagavad path is called a Shrutekshita Pata. Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Hrit Saroja Ase Shrutekshita Patho Nanunata Pumsam. Yes, this is the path. Shuddha Ikshita Pata. That means the path where you're going to see through your ears. So many times people joke, Hare Krishna Prabhu, you're a senior devotee. Oh, I have only seen ears. I've seen so many ears in ISKCON. That's why I'm senior devotee. But who is actually a senior devotee? Who is seen through ears is a senior devotee. Right? So of course, we are not aspiring to become senior devotee. Just coast along. Just go on. You want to become senior devotee? It's very easy. Very easy. Just stay. Stay for some time, you'll become senior devotee. Everyone will start, the juniors will start respecting. Oh, you are so senior devotee. Then will become senior devotee. That's no big difference. But are we becoming devotees who are seen through years? Are we seeing through years? That is why this receptive hearing, receptive ears. So let's first talk about what are non-receptive ears. I'll tell you. So please check. Now, as soon as there's a point being made, now we are sitting in the class and the point is being made. Oh, I know this already. This is something I know. I've heard this many times. So this is not a receptive ear because you're blocking. Thank you so much. You go on speak. I already know this. The moment this I know comes, we are not just blocking our ears, we are blocking the mercy that's coming. The kripa, the mercy that's coming, we are blocking it. I know this already. Number 2, non-receptive ears. This speaker is going to give the class. He's too boring. Perception. Non-receptive ear. That's not a sign of non-receptive ear. This person is going to give the class. This is a junior devotee. I came to Krishna consciousness before this devotee. Why should I listen to this class? No, I will not listen. This is again non-receptive ears. Otherwise, best. What I will do is I'll go to the class, I'll take a notebook, I'll take a pen, pretend as though I'm making notes, and I'm going to make super duper plans for my life. I'm going to make super duper plans for preaching and expanding Prabhupada's mission. I'm going to make a planning for the next Janmashtami or for the next Rath Yatra, whatever is coming out, or for the book distribution marathon. I'll sit and make plans. See how intelligent multitasking I'll do. This is non-receptive. You're doing something else. Another thing that people do is daydream. Daydreaming. And that's clearly visible in the body language. Just please, let me tell you, the body language makes it very, very clear. Face is the index of mind, Prabhupada said. Just by looking at the face, we can make it very clear what's happening in the mind. Right? So that's called daydreamer devotee. The person is gone. He's dreaming very well. Oh, my dreams are going on. Yes. I remember my school days. We had a sir, a music teacher. This music teacher was expert. You know in what? In sleeping with eyes open. Used to come to class. I remember used to come to class, sit down, and all kids would be playing in the classroom. The guy would be just like this. And once a guy went and did like this and understood, he doesn't respond. he's gone. He's in samadhi with eyes open. And thus, before every exam, all students used to go to temple and pray that we need this music sir as our examiner today. That's all we need. If this is done, we are going to do very well. We are going to pass the exam with flying colors. If music sir is going to come. So we should not become the music sir, the daydreamer who's learning, who is sitting in the Bhagavatam class, physically present, mentally absent, and looking somewhere. That is not receptive ears. And the best way of having a non-receptive ear is to there are even sound effects that come in the Bhagavatam class. My God, where are lions and tigers and leopards and cheetahs from? Where they have come? Yes. Oh, that is all snoring audience. Audience is snoring. Everyone's gone to sleep. This is something that practically everybody says. After joining ISKCON, we have a wonderful experience. What is your wonderful experience? We sleep very well. Oh, really? How come? Yes. 6 hours in the night, we get very good sleep. In Japa, very good sleep. Bhagavatam class, very, very good sleep. Depends on speaker. Yes, the speaker is going to sing lullabies. We're going to sleep nicely. And then we take nice prasad. Wonderful prasad and take day rest. More sleep. So amazing. After joining ISKCON, I'm getting wonderful sleep. I've stopped taking sleeping pills. I just go to Bhagavatam class. Conveniently sleep off. That is not something we're supposed to do. Right? All right. So then now let's analyze what is the receptive ears. So His Grace Kaunteya Prabhu takes a beautiful workshop. And this is something that prepares us for the receptive ears. So it's called a soul formula. Not S-O-U-L soul, S-O-L-E soul, S-O-L-E. So the first thing that he says is sit in front of the speaker. Sometimes some devotees go sit back behind the speaker. Now, I'm not telling everyone to sit in the front, like Amrit Hari Prabhu. All of you will jump into Amrit Hari Prabhu. No, don't do that. You can sit wherever, but sit in such a way that you're facing the speaker. If you're facing somewhere else, it's very difficult for you to feel that you're a part of a class. So that's called the first S formula, which is sit square with the speaker. Excuse me. Number 2 is open body language. Open. Now, we need to understand this very clearly. Motion leads to emotion. Yes, motion leads to emotion. This is a fact. So our bodily position, bodily movements is something that actually has a lot of things to do with our emotion. So if one is sitting close like this, folded hands, or very, very trying to just swallow yourself inside, that is a very, very underconfident body language, and that is not going to give you receptivity. It's all connected to our hearing. On the other hand, when somebody is sitting, need not be too straight and erect, decently erect, and having an open body. Now that person is very, very open to hear. Your openness in your body means openness in hearing. It is connected. On the other hand, somebody is closed. That means I'm close to hearing also. I'm very close. I'm not going to hear. That's non-receptive. That's open. L for lean ahead a little bit. You don't have to lean too much ahead and sleep off. No, little lean ahead. So when you're leaning a little ahead, that means you are paying attention. Yeah. When you lean a little ahead, you lean behind, you're going to sleep. You lean like this, oh. So many devotees like a good rest for the back. They go there, oh, we get back rest. You lean behind, you're knocked out. You lean ahead, little ahead. So your body gets a signal that I have to be attentive. It works. Yeah. Correct? Lean is a little ahead. And the next, E for eye contact with the speaker. Sometimes you may not like the face of the speaker, or the speaker is not so good looking. It's all right. But still, maintain eye contact with the speaker. Now, there is nothing connected to ears in this, but we follow these 4 sutras, then we have a receptive ear. Yes, we do have a receptive ear. It works. But there is something that we can do even pre-entering the class. Pre-entering the class is the prayers. Now the speaker does the prayers, and we all just go along. We have a mantra. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Ramvidam. So the mantra goes on. Our mantra keeps going on. You can go nicely to sleep also. No, that's not the point. Prayer means we pay attention to every single word. We meditate on the meaning of the word, of the prayers, and try to feel the prayers. You pray well, we are going to be attentive in the class. That prepares. And before entering the class, we try to find out, why am I entering the class? What am I going to do today? Yes, why? Have a good motivation. Have a good motive to enter the class. You may have whatever reason. There's no problem. But you should have a Krishna conscious motive in entering the class. And tell it to yourself. Remind yourself. So these are some pre-preparation that you can do. While entering the class, have a good motivation. Do nice prayer and follow the soul formula. This will have a receptive ear. Yes. Another way to have a receptive ear during the class is note taking. Yes, taking notes. The kind of note taking that I personally recommend to my students is that you take a note, you don't verbatim write down everything that the speaker is speaking. No. If everything is important, some people highlight everything in the book. You take the book, take highlighter and highlight it. If you are highlighting everything, then what are you doing? You are highlighting nothing. And similarly, you're noting everything, then you're noting nothing. We just take the essential points in the class. Or sometimes, what personally my practice is, I listen to about 15-20 minutes. And then whatever happened in those 15-20 minutes, I sum it up in 3-4 lines. And again, 15-20 minutes, sum it up. And this really keeps you attentive. This really keeps you attentive, and you will find at the end of the class, you know the class. What happened in the class? You get to know this. So, but have some technique of note taking and take it. Correct? Finally, we know this particular shloka from Mahabharata, which talks about the difference between animal and human being. Ahara, nidra, bhayamaituram cha samanyametat pashubir naranam dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubir samana. Yes, we hear this. But the most vital difference that Prabhupada is highlighting here is receptive ears. Animals can't have receptive ears. It's only human beings who can have receptive ears. So now we have a choice. Do we want to sit in the Bhagavatam class as animals? Or we want to sit in the Bhagavatam class like human beings? That's a choice. So every time, some temples have a checking system. Hare Krishna, all devotees, please sit down. All devotees, please put your mobile phones on silent or switch off. Similarly, there has to be one more announcement made. All devotees, please switch on the receptive ears have to be switched on. Oh, you don't have that app? Please install that app of receptive ears and come. You want to have that installation, please install and never uninstall it. Receptive ears app, the soul formula. So we need to remind ourselves. So we don't want to sit in the Bhagavatam class like animal. And Prabhupada would always say this, Krishna consciousness is not for cats and dogs. And that's why when all the Prabhupada's American disciples would come to the classes, they would leave the cats and dogs outside. Krishna consciousness is not for cats and dogs. So we cannot remain in cat and dog consciousness and benefit from Bhagavatam class. We want to really benefit from Bhagavatam class, we need to be humans, and humans means receptive ear. Correct? And through this receptive ear, we will be able to feel Krishna, and thus become Krishna conscious. All you have to do is this. And this is what is spoken in Bhagavatam also. What is spoken in the Bhagavatam? When you hear Bhagavatam attentively, a person is able to see Krishna in the heart. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavad tatmavirta vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. One more shloka. Drishta eva atma ishwari. Drishta eva atmani ishwari. In the same series of verses it comes. Drishta means you will see, you will feel Krishna in the heart. And there's something which is possible when we hear. Gurus are potent, Bhagavatam is potent, Prabhupada's Vani is potent. But are we ready with our receptive ear? That is something we have to do. All right, we'll pause here and we will open for question answers if there are any.
Hare Krishna, anyone would like to ask anything, you can come forward.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. It was like on the occasion of Diwali, it was like a Diwali bumper, very different than the usual classes. I just would like you to summarize, Prabhuji, what
Yes.
you mentioned, so that we can
I'll do
remember it better.
Sure. As spoken earlier, I'll summarize my class. As spoken earlier, this particular purport of Srila Prabhupada has only two themes. God is everywhere and how to realize him. That's it. So as far as God is everywhere is concerned, this is the word Vasudev means that Lord is all pervading. That's the aspect of Lord being discussed here in this particular shloka. So what is Krishna consciousness? We discussed the 5 stages of Krishna consciousness. Number 1, to accept the authority of Krishna. Number 2, to follow the authority of Krishna. Number 3, to feel the presence of Krishna. Number 4, to act on behalf of Krishna, like how Narada do. And number 5, to act on behalf of the devotees of Krishna. Yes. Now, how do we develop this feeling the presence of Krishna? The third aspect. That's what is discussed. When we hear and read the right subject matter. So we discuss what are the wrong subject matters. And the right subject matter is Srimad Bhagvatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam has to be heard from Guru, who is a potent person, who has the capacity to kindle the Paramatma from the heart of a disciple. But the disciple has to have the qualification of a receptive ear. Correct? And what is a non-receptive ear? Non-receptive ear is we discuss some examples. I know this already, speaker is boring, is a junior devotee. I'll do something else, multitasking. I want to daydream. That's it. Or I want to just push off to rest. And what is receptive ear? We discuss the soul formula. S for sit square with the speaker, O for have an open body language, L for lean ahead, E for eye contact. And another practical tip is before you enter the class, fix your motivation. And while you're sitting for class, also it's very important that we pray before the class very attentively so that we are able to receive Krishna. And note taking also really helps in this aspect. And finally, with the concluding words of Srila Prabhupada, that we should not sit in Bhagavatam class like animals. Yes, animals, well, they don't have receptive ear. On the other hand, humans have this receptive ear. So we need to install this app of receptive ears immediately. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's really amazing. And I mean, we are so blessed to have speakers like you, Prabhuji. Really thank Srimati Radharani and Krishna, for sending people like you.
Thank you
you
for
so
your
much.
encouraging words. Means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Yeah, Prabhu, this is Prabhu, I was reading the book called Raja Vidya, the King of Knowledge, from Prabhupada.
Yeah.
So, Prabhu, like I would like to relate the today's class with the one shloka that I heard from this book, that Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma Nasochati Nikangshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. So, is this simulates the same what you discussed today, Prabhu?
Okay. This particular shloka that you mentioned comes in the 18th chapter. It's the verse number 54, which states that a person, what is Brahma Bhuta stage? Now, Brahma Bhuta stage is a person, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. He is happy. Na shochati, na kangshati. He is neither going to lament nor he is going to aspire for things. He has no hankering. Samassa, he is equally disposed to all living entities. And such a person becomes qualified for bhakti. Mad bhaktim labate param. Yes. So this is the person who has attained perfection of jnana, who is ready for bhakti. That's what your shloka means. But definitely, the symptoms that you're quoting, right? Brahma Bhuta, Prasannatma, na Shochati, na Kangshati. These are all automatic byproducts for a person who is Krishna conscious. Because he has surpassed those levels. You're right. So definitely we can relate this wonderful verse that you read in Rajvidya book to today's class. Because one has to see, just like we were discussing about a person is Krishna conscious, we should know how much are we feeling Krishna. So similarly, we can check, are we Prasanna Atma or are we Dukhi Atma? We are miserable,
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
all. Yeah. We can check. Na shochati na kangchati. How much are we hankering? How much are we lamenting? Are we wasting time in hankering and lamenting? Samasarveshu bhutishu. Are we treating all living beings equally? So this, yes, there are definitely pointers we need to check. And then a person becomes qualified for bhakti. Nice one, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Prabhu, in that, that says we have to be always situated transcendentally,
Yes.
to attain the bhakti yoga. So, how it is
Exactly.
possible in this material world? I mean, that's
Definitely
what I want to
possible.
read.
Yeah, why? The Shastras are given for that purpose. Srimad Bhagvatam is meant to elevate your consciousness. So as you reading Raj Vidya, systematically read Raj Vidya, other books, come to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. With every page, when we have again a receptive ear, we are doing that, we are taking a next level in our consciousness. And we are becoming very close to what you read. You'll be experiencing what you read. Right? So this is the way.
Yeah,
Applying,
thank you, Prabhu.
studying and applying. Yes, receiving Shravan and Kirtan of the subject matter.
Okay. Yeah, thank you,
Hello.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hey Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there is one question. As you
Yes, yes.
very nicely explained about the process of hearing, how we should also have this enthusiasm of kirtanam, especially when it comes to preaching or even talking to devotees and not getting into prajalpa zone, but sharing Krishna consciousness with others. So sometimes there is initial inhibition. How we can overcome that?
Yes, yes. What happens is Acharyas teach us, even Prabhupada teaches us that one who does good Shravanam will automatically do good Kirtanam. It is natural. It's Shravanam that leads to Kirtanam. That's very natural. So somebody has heard so much of input goes in. Kirtan is very, very natural. But still, one has to make an effort. And that effort can be made when one gets confidence. Initially, we may not be able to preach to multitudes, thousands of people. No, let's preach to one person. Yes, one person, and let that be a person who we are comfortable with. You already converse with that person regularly. Someone we know. We can start preaching there, and then 2 people, 3 people. Yes, there will be inhibition initially. Oh, why should I speak? Should I start? Should I speak? Should I not speak? But do not worry. Make the first move. You can just go and ask casually. Okay, do we have time? Can I share something, please? I heard something very amazing. I would like to share it. Can I share it with you? Yeah, yeah, sure. Why not? Go ahead. That inhibition is there initially, but we have to break that. And once that is done, then we'll have lots to share. And then we'll be unstoppable. You would tell Prabhuji, I have to go, please stop it. That is good. You're sharing Krishna Katha always. That's a very nice a comment. If people have that perception, this person is always Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He's only talking about Krishna. That's amazing. That's success. So now, how exactly do we not get into Prajalpa zone? There's a shloka that comes in Bhagavatam 3:636. This is Tathapi kirtiyam yanga yathamati yathashrutam kirtim harem swam sat kartum giram anyabhidhasati. This is spoken by Maitreya Rishi to Vidura. He says that Tathapi let me better do kirtan. Oh Anga, oh my dear boy, let me do kirtan. Tathapi kirtiyam yanga yathamati yathashrutam. Whatever I heard, whatever I read, let me do it. But why? Because if I don't do kirtan, kiram anyabhidasati, my tongue will speak nonsense and garbage. So I personally request devotees to have this practice of keeping a diary where you made your notes and just open it before you start any conversation. It may be related to management, Krishna consciousness, any friend. We will start with sharing one point of Krishna consciousness. Just open the notebook and just what you relished, just share one point. That's how we start our conversation. Yes, so many at times, even in our management meetings, etc., we first start with the Krishna conscious note. And then we get into management. Very important. So even otherwise, when we normally talk to devotees, also very, very important that we first will share what we read, heard yesterday, today, something fresh, and then go ahead. Let's keep that practice. Then what happens is we have started on a good note. Well, beginner is half done. It's very difficult to do Prajalpa after that. Right? It's very difficult. You start with Krishna Katha, it's very hard to do Prajalpa. In fact, that momentum sets. So this is one tip that I can say. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. There are some questions on the chat, Prabhu, if you would like to take them.
Please read them for me, Prabhu, and for all of us.
The first question is how we can, how would it, would it take for someone to even get to the level 1 that you've mentioned?
So, level 1 means to accept the authority of Krishna. That comes with the starting of the basic philosophy. We have very wonderful beginner courses. In some temples, they may have something like Discover Yourself, Journey of Self-Discovery, Basic Prabhupada Philosophy, where you need to understand the concept. First, we need to understand the concept of there has to be a creator, the intelligent design. Then we get to understand the concept of what are the ways of gaining knowledge. Yes, so sister, there are scientific presentations and topics, which definitely His Grace Amrit Hari Prabhu will orient you. You can contact him. There are courses by which you will understand this very clearly, that there is God. And what is the name of that God? Well, then we open the Shastras and we find the name. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. Then it becomes easy to get to the level 1. Right? So that is by basic knowledge. By hearing basic knowledge, you will come.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's wonderful
Yeah.
question. How to be a lovely devotee like you, Prabhu, evergreen and smiling, inspired, Haribol.
I'm lovely from distance. Dur se, from distance, everyone is lovely. Hare Krishna. I can answer not like me, but how to be a lovely devotee, evergreen and smiling, very inspired. Hare Krishna. Well, Krishna consciousness is actually blissful. Anyone who's just do it. I'm not Krishna conscious, and I'm struggling to practice Krishna conscious. But even the struggle is blissful. That's amazing. So we have to be situated with blissful devotees, and we just do the process. It works. Yes, even don't do properly like me also, it works. So please, Kashyapji, we invite you to go on. Actually, it's association matters a lot. Whom are we associating always? I personally ensure that I have the association of Srila Prabhupada every day through my books, every day, without fail. I have ensured that I have association of my spiritual master, whom I have always seen smiling and blissful always. And fortunately, by Krishna's wonderful arrangement, although not qualified, I am with so many blissful and lovely devotees. I am with lovely devotees. So some sparks of loveliness also comes out because of their association. And that's it. It comes. And because of all of you turning on your videos, that's what makes me smile. All glories. So association matters a lot.
Thank you, Prabhu. And then there's one question in the Varaha Avatar phase of Bhagwan Krishna's plenary extension as Vishnu avatars. What is the significance of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu getting two different forms of punishment when they both had performed the same offense before being sent down to atone?
Okay. How did they get two different forms of punishment? They got same punishment. They were killed by the Lord. Okay. One might have killed by boar incarnation, another might have been killed by the lion incarnation, but ultimately they got the same thing. They were not sent down to atone. They were sent down to assist the Lord in his Veera pastime. And Krishna likes variety. If you read the section properly, you can read the third canto of Bhagavatam, chapter number 15. Yeah, read 15 of third canto and read the seventh canto, first chapter. You will develop a very good understanding and you will come to know of how Jaya and Vijay were cursed by the divine arrangement of Krishna, who wanted to actually perform Viryaras because Lord likes to fight. How many of you like fight scenes and stunt scenes? You like to watch fight scenes, stunt scenes, and thrilling. Similar that this tendency is coming from Krishna. So Krishna loves to perform such pastimes. So Krishna tells his devotees in Vaikunta, "Come, let's fight." And they say, "Who, me? Fight? What is fight?" "No, fight, come on, attack me." So devotee takes a lotus and throws it on Krishna. Over, done. I'm going. And what is this? I want real fight, something, action. So then that is only possible in material world. So that is where, and who is that possible? Who can fight with the Lord? Lord is so mighty, only his devotees. Right? So he makes his devotees Jai and Vijay to come. And Jai Vijay coming to material world is not a fall down. They also incarnate just like the Lord. It is also mentioned in Prabhupada's purports. So they performing that offense also is in one sense, it is not performing an offense. It was an arrangement of Lord for them to do what they did. And do not worry, they didn't get different punishment. They got the same treatment. They fought in a different way. Because ultimately they're also different personalities. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I think there's one more last question we can take if it's okay, Prabhu. Is there
Yeah,
a
sure.
specific is there a specific process to be able to actually feel and see Krishna within the heart as Paramatma?
Yes, that's what we've been discussing. Here Srimad Bhagavatam with a receptive ear. The entire class was based on that only. It will happen. Prabhupada wrote, in fact, if you are very attentive in the Bhagavatam class, you will see Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says. You come in contact with Bhagavatam, you will immediately realize God. So like this, Prabhupada has many quotes on feeling Paramatma and seeing Paramatma. Is there. Thing is, we have to first train our ears to be receptive. This training we have to do. We do this, it is very much possible. So with a receptive, how much ever possible, it's a process of training. It's an ongoing. Let's be more and more receptive. Let's keep increasing that and continue hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Kintu adara kanudinam kallu seva jushta. Let's keep increasing our respect and hearing. Definitely it will happen. Is it okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. We really appreciate Prabhu you giving us time, even being in Vrindavan. I know how the atmosphere there is during Kartik month, and there's so many devotees whom we can take association, so many places to visit. But in spite of that, you agreed to give your association to us. So we are very fortunate and very, very grateful to you. And
I
would
was
like
just wondering how will Krishna help me to serve you all. Somehow it happened. I thought the class was at 7, so I rushed in somehow and came around 6:55. Then I realized it's 7:30. Very good. I got some time to spend with myself. I just tried to prepare a little bit and then served all of you.
thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, S.G. Samritari, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you all devotees of ISKCON Calgary for attending this class. And all of you others also, online devotees. Thank you so much.
Okay, Prabhu.